Alright guys, welcome back. This is my Charmers deck update. And yes, this is a Charmers deck. I've seen people trying to make Charmers deck without including Charmers, which is ironic because it's not a Charmers deck if it has no Charmers. So this is the updated deck. Thanks to all the people in my comments that helped me out with this deck. It's pretty much finished. I got I got all the cards from TCG Player that I wanted. I might add some other cards later on, but for the most part, this is the completed deck. So first, we're going to start with the familiars. Familiar Possessed. Now these are spellcasters, and each familiar possessed has a similar charmer. It's the same character. Alsa, the familiar possessed, is the earth charmer. So, you notice it has the nefarious archfiend on its picture. And then I run 3 of the familiar Hita. She is the fire charmer. And you notice she has Inari on her photo. And this is, I added Iria, 3 Iria to the deck, familiar, possessed. And she has, I think it's Gigabyte on her picture. And she's a spellcaster. And I have 2 of the familiar possessed Win. Now I only have 2 because I could only find 2. So I'm going to have to stick with 2 of those familiar possessed. So next, we have our stars of the show, which are not basically the stars, but because of certain trap cards and certain spell cards, they're probably some of the strongest monsters in the deck. So I run 2 of the Alsa Earth Charmer. And you can see it has the baby Nefarious. 2 of the Fire Charmer and it has the baby Inari. 2 of the Water Charmer and 2 of the Wind Charmer. Now, I don't recommend running 3 because you really do not need 3 Charmers of each. You barely need 2 of them, but you want to have Charmers. That's why 2 is good. So lastly is extra spellcasters. I have 2 Fairy Tale Luna. I got rid of the Snow because Snow is banned. Thanks to the person that commented on the video and let me know that. When I saw that Snow was banned, it was heartbreaking. I kind of was pissed because it was a good card and it kind of slowed down this deck, made it less powerful. But the deck is still pretty okay and pretty powerful, and it's still a fun deck without Snow. So I only run 2 Luna, and you really do not need to run her at all, but it's just more spellcasters. Because you need spellcasters all the time. Next, I have the animal support. I got 3 Nefarious Archfiend. Now, the thing with these animal supports is that you can special summon these as long as you control a spellcaster monster. So as long as you have a spellcaster, you can special summon these cards for free from your hand. So you can only control 1 at a time. So if you have all 3 of these in your hand, you can only put 1 at a time. So you can only control 1 at a time. Next, I run 3 Inari Fire, 3 Gigabyte, and 2 Ren Ryu. Now, they all have their own unique little thing when they get sent to the graveyard, and we'll probably talk about that in another video. But if you read these, they have some pretty crazy effects. They do have like real specific conditions to activate them, so most of the time I don't use those effects. So next we have our awakening monsters. Now those animals all have an awakening. Nefarious has an awakening, and it's this one. The awakening of the possessed Nefariozer Archfiend. Awakening of the possessed Resin Ryu. And this one right here basically pops a card when it's special summoned in a specific way. You can pop a card to your opponent's hand, and that's pretty annoying. If they have a big monster, or if they had a monster that they tributed, you could just pop it back to their hand and they can't normal summon it, and it's a huge disruption. I run 2 of the Greater Inari Fire because I only have 2. I might want to add another one. But this one is pretty unique because when you special summon it in that certain condition from your deck, you can actually choose a monster, not target, but choose any monster. It mimics its attack, and you can inflict battle damage to your opponent equal to the attack of one monster that they control. So if they have a monster that's 4,000 attack, you can actually inflict that much damage to your opponent with just one of these cards, just by special summoning it, not even with attacking it. So next, I have my spell cards. I run 3 of the Spirit Charmers finally. I usually use this just to get the trap cards, the trap and spell cards. It's really pointless to use unless you need a spellcaster. It's better to get the spell and trap cards with this. Then I have 3 of the Awakening of the Possessed. I'm not clear how to use this card. I'm pretty sure you can use these 3 times, but this is pretty useful for drawing. If you place one of these cards down and then you normal summon spellcaster with 1850 attack, you can draw a card once per turn. So that's only once per turn, even if you have 3 of them on the field. But I'm not sure if you can multiply the attack for each different attribute that you control. Also, this helps your familiars and your charmers from being destroyed by card effects. So if someone tries to use a card effect against it, it cannot be destroyed. So it gives extra power to your charmers and familiars. Then I got 1 Regeki and 1 Secret Village. Okay, for my traps, I have 2 Possessed Partnerships. I might add a 3rd one because this card is pretty good. You can actually banish this from the graveyard and get one of these back. You could get itself back, or you can get another possessed spell or trap card back. That's continuous. Wait, let me see. Is it continuous? Oh yeah, it has to be continuous. So you can get a continuous spell card back, which is the Awakening of the Possessed. You can get that back to your hand just by banishing it from your graveyard. You can use it and then banish it and then pull it from your graveyard. Then I got 2 of the Unpossessed, which helps your Charmer's monster not be destroyed by battle. It's very important. And if one of your cards, one of your monsters, gets destroyed, you can special summon a spellcaster monster with 1500 defense to your side of the field. Then I got 2 of the Spiritual Fire art. This card is pretty good, like if you're trying to end your opponent and you have a fire monster, and let's say you only need like 2,000 points left. I mean 2,000 life points left, and you have a fire monster that has 2,000 attack. You could just activate it on your opponent's turn and tribute the monster and inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent, and you win the game. Then I got 1 spiritual earth and 1 spiritual wind. I might get rid of the earth because I don't find a use for it, because you got to tribute an earth monster for 1 level 4 or lower earth monster from your graveyard. So I don't find a use for that one. So that's pretty much the whole deck right there. For my extra deck, I run 3 of the Earth Charmer, 3 of the Fire Charmer, and 3 of the Water Charmer, and 3 of the Wind Charmer. Alright, so these are all basically the same, similar in that their attribute, you need two monsters, but one of them has to be its attribute, and once it's link summoned, you can special summon from your opponent's graveyard a monster with that same attribute. Now the thing that sucks about these cards is that you're only gonna last about 2 or 3 turns before the game is over. So at that time, your opponent's not going to have that many monsters in their graveyard unless they're dumping a bunch of monsters. So there's not going to be any monsters for you to pull. Plus, not that many people play wind, water, fire, or earth monsters. Most people play light and dark monsters. So it's not that useful, but if your opponent destroys it, I think you can special summon a card to your field. So that's going to help you out. If this gets destroyed and you have certain spell and trap cards on the field, you can actually special summon a Charmer, and Charmers cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects if you have Awakening of the Possessed, and I think it was Unpossessed. So yeah, Unpossessed and the Awakening of the Possessed. That pretty much makes your Charmers invincible right there. So lastly, I have 1 Evil Swarm, 1 Diamond Crab, 1 Downward Magician. The most useful out of all 3 of these is the Diamond Crab, because you just need 2 level 4 monsters, and let's say you want to attack, you can take out a card and switch the attack and defense, and it attacks with 3,000, and at the end of the turn it sets itself. So in defense position, and this switches to 3,000. So that's a pretty cool effect right there. Very useful. If I had 3 of those, I'd probably play 3 of these. The only problem with this is it gets popped real easily. So yeah, it has its weaknesses. Then I have 2 of the tokens, which I never use, so I don't know why they included the tokens, but so far you don't need them. Alright, so I'll show you a quick combo at the end of this video, which is right now, and let's get into that. Alright guys, for this combo right here, you're going to need a Ran Ryu in your graveyard. So this is the trick. You have 1 spellcaster, and you have 3 of your monster supports. You can normal summon the spellcaster, and then you can special summon these monsters, right? then you can send a spellcaster and an earth monster to special summon from your deck an Awakening Archfiend, and that will pull back your Wind Charmer, right? Next, what you can do is, this is the graveyard, right? But you still have one slot left. You can use the effect of this one right here. Of the Nefarious Archfiend, you can destroy one monster. We choose Gigabyte, destroy it, special summon Archfiend. Why we do that? Because when this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one monster with 1500 attack and 200 defense from your deck, except for Gigabyte. Alright, I forgot it was from the deck. So, you can special summon from your deck any one of these monsters. So the one that you're missing is obviously Ren Ryu. So you can special summon that. So now you have full 5 cards in your thing. And if you want, you can special summon another one of these, or you can special summon a fire monster, or you can special summon a wind monster. So it all depends on what you want to do. Let's special summon a fire monster. Fire monster does not, Awakening Fire Monster does not bring back the card. That's what sucks about it. So it's basically just a boost. But if you want to boost even more, all you need is 2 effect monsters. And you can link summon either a Wind Charmer or an Earth Charmer, or you can even link summon a Fire Charmer. But since these are cheaper, just link summon the Wind Charmer. So there you go. And if your opponent has a wind monster, you can special summon it from its graveyard to this position right here. So you would have 4 monsters. So that's basically the combo right there. It's using the effect of this guy right here. This guy with Gigabyte. When he's in your graveyard, you can target one face-up monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon this card. So we destroyed Gigabyte. Summoned that card, and then from the deck, we special summoned that card. So that's a pretty cool effect that this guy has with this guy. So that's it for the combo. Thanks everybody for the comments. Someone also mentioned some trap cards that I had that would special summon only normal monsters, and I took those out. So I read all the comments, and thanks everybody for your input. I know it could be like 1 or 2 words that mess up the whole card, like if you don't read it exactly correct, and it could really mess up the game and slow you down. But so far this is a pretty fun deck. As you can see, with one hand you can do all this, and you can keep going. Like if I had a XZ monsters, or let's say I want to even summon a fire one, you can summon one of those. But you have lots of choices when you have with this deck. So stick around. I'm going to try to come up with other combos and show you more combos on the Charmer deck. This was not the only deck that I played. I used to play Cosmo deck, and I used to play Pendulum deck. I used to play Blue Eyes deck. I played Dragon deck. And this one by far is the strongest and the most fun to play right now because it's newer. Even though most of its cards are old. So just stick around if you want to see more. And also, I have a TikTok associated to this channel called Tomoko Gaming on TikTok. So if you want to check out booster pack openings and stuff like that, I do that on the TikTok. So bye for now, and thanks everybody for the comments and for all the likes, and I'll see you in another video.